What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Lucid Daily. And today we actually have quite a bit of news that we actually need to get through. So let's go ahead and get started with everything that I have to cover. So, first off, Lucid was up 7% today. Absolutely phenomenal. I do think that that $13 range we saw a couple of weeks back was probably about a month or so now. It really could have been a bottom for Lucid, but in this market, you never want to call bottoms on a stock just because it is such a volatile market and any kind of big economic news can come out and it can completely crush the floors that we've seen in stock. So it is really nice to see Lucid bounce strongly off that bottom of 13.30, 13 something. I can't remember the exact cent, but it was $13. And Lucid actually did outperform the EV sector today. They outperformed Tesla. Tesla was only up 0.4% today. But regarding why Lucid was up 7% today, there's a lot, like, you can play technicals or however you want it, but there wasn't really any core announcements that came out with Lucid today. If anything, there was actually some more negative press that came out with Lucid. But you can actually view the news that came out positively, so maybe that's why it was up. And we're going to cover all of that in here just a second. I know the title of this video is "Why Lucid Paused Production," and we're going to talk about why they paused production, exactly how long they were down, and what this means for the stock going forward. And then the SPY was up 1% today, so it was a green day. It was a green day. So Lucid definitely did outpace the market in a positive way today, which was nice. And I think this is more of a risk-on rally that we're seeing. And as we talked about in the last couple of videos, every time the the FOMC has come out of their meetings with the decision, we've had a short-term rally that's in the last 6 of 8 meetings. So we have had short little rallies like this after FOMC meetings. You did have Rivian also up 3%. So like I'm saying, you may be seeing a little bit of a risk on rally right now, which it's never bad. Lucid tweeted today they're doing a Dream Ahead tour. They're kicking off a cross-country event at their headquarters where the Lucid Air reservation holders and media will be able to meet the team that created the Lucid Air to learn what makes it such an amazing vehicle and get behind the wheel to experience it. From an investor standpoint, it sounds like a great way to get more reservations. So all for that. Next, not Bloomberg, sorry. Business Insider leaked an article today. Business Insider, like, they definitely live true to their name. They get a lot of inside information from employees. I don't know if they're paying these employees, like not just from Lucid, but from a lot of other companies as well. And I've really kind of grown to I kind of like shiver every time I hear that Business Insider wrote an article because there's usually something like a negative connotation to it. And this isn't really that much of an exception. They published an article about 10 hours ago saying that Lucid had frozen production for a week at its flagship manufacturing plant in Casa Grande, Arizona. And that schedule was actually paused from May 29th to June 4th. And that was apparently to install the tooling needed for the assembly of the $87,400 Air Pure. Now, people on the like, this is already passed. Like, if they'd announced this in the moment, like, hey, we're pausing production, I would have been like, ah, crap. But like, now that we know that they're doing it for the Air Pure, that's actually a really good signal that maybe we can get a couple of those out by the end of the year, and Lucid can keep their promise on that, which will be absolutely phenomenal. And I did take this from Lucid Insider. What he has like a chronological order of the factory, and so I don't have the exact dates lined up, but this is a time that you can tell that Lucid was shut down for production. It was between June 1st and June 3rd, and you actually see a lot of vehicles change places. So I don't know, like, these vehicles were here. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys so we can get both pictures. You actually did see like a fair amount of vehicles. What like This was June 1st. It looks like they shipped out a fair amount of vehicles between June 1st and June 3rd, or they just took the vehicles from June 3rd and they did more fit and finish on them and they're inside. I don't know, but either way, it did look like they were still moving vehicles, but the production was halted. So that's good to see that they weren't completely stagnant. They say so. I would actually really appreciate about it, Lucid, is it sounds like usually when it comes to a bit like an article like this, where it's like an exposed kind of article. An example of this is like Elon Musk, where they did that big piece on Elon Musk and they said like SpaceX declines to comment immediately or something like that. But they didn't say that anywhere in this article, and it says right here that Lucid has a spokesperson, Nat, and so it's Lucid probably reached out and Business Insider probably reached out, and Lucid probably, rather than have the rumor go around, Lucid probably responded with actual facts with what happened. It was a planned production pause in late May to prepare equipment on the line for our up and coming Lucid Air Pure. So it's possible that it could have been late May and it may not have been June 1 through 3, which I think would be interesting. So that is actually something that I really do like. Lucid does look like they take an active PR approach where they like say, hey, like we will respond, we will tell you the truth, like we will say what we need to say in order to make sure that the correct information gets out there, which I do know is a big complaint that a lot of people have with Tesla. It does sound like this was just interesting. It's cool to hear that their employees are getting paid well in stressful times, but I'm pretty impartial about it. Employees were paid, this is not really bad at all, I guess. Employees were paid 75% of their typical earnings during the pause, according to two sources. So yeah, this next screenshot I have here is from Reuters. They had a tweet today, and it was from the podcast that Elon Musk recently did. He talked about how Tesla's factories in Berlin and Texas are losing billions of dollars due to a shortage of batteries and issues with supplies coming from the Chinese ports. And the main reason I wanted to talk about this is I am convinced from an economic standpoint how difficult Q2 earnings are going to be across the board. And I don't think Lucid is going to, I don't think like there's no companies there, hardly any companies are going to be an exception to. I think Tesla's going to be one of the hardest hit companies in Q2 because Shanghai was shut down. So I would not be surprised to see a little bump in the road for Lucid, but I do hope that this Q2 earnings is the I don't want to say worst, but like the bottom in terms of earnings. I'm hoping it's up from here. But if I'm investing, I would plan, like me personally, I've been saying for about 6 months that I would be extremely interested in buying back again in Lucid after Q2 earnings, just because I do think that that will be a good buying opportunity. So I will keep you guys up to date with that. So just consider subscribing if you want to see that. Next, Bears Workshop did do a flyover today, and we're starting to see a ton of cars out here. We're seeing this whole parking lot starting to get filled up, and they did something interesting today. They moved these cars around, and now they're lining the outside fence, which is actually peculiar. But they're putting a big tent right here, and I wonder if that's because, like what we talked about yesterday, that these cars are really do just need fit and finish, and they're gonna do like a mini assembly line right here where they can start bringing, like maybe that's what this one thing is for. Again, this is just speculation, but why else would you put a tent here? I think that's because they're going to do fit and finish right here and get all of those cars ready for production and ready for shipping. I think these cars are ready to be shipped. And this is a screenshot from a couple of days ago. This was on June 20th. So this was June 20th, and this is today, June 23rd. And as you can see, that tent was not anywhere to be found here, but it does look like that these materials right here were going to be used for the tent. And it looks like I can't really tell if they've shipped any cars from this lot. It doesn't really look. It looks like about the same number. Maybe they have shipped a couple. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, because you can see them loading on. It does look like they've shipped a couple, but we're past the point of counting individual cars. It's just cool to see the phases. I don't think that this phase is necessarily for studio cars or security. I think that was a good idea, but I think that this is a phase of like rough final inspection where it's like, okay, before they go to the actual lot, like let's inspect them, make sure that the fit and finish is all they need. Okay, cool. Send them back to fit and finish done. Okay, cool. And they're ready for delivery. I think that that's how they're doing it. I'm not sure what this tent is for. I do think it'll be fit and finish. So that's today's episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy this format where I can be a little more detailed and it's really easy for me to prepare and present to you guys, and I get as much information out as possible to you guys. I appreciate the support. You guys are awesome, and I'm excited to see what the rest of the day brings. It does look like this buy ended up in the after hours about 1%, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a green day tomorrow. But you don't really trust after hours or the pre-market too much because you never know when an announcement could come out. Tomorrow's Friday, so I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and let's talk there. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and like always, see you next time. Thanks for watching.